The European Union has a say in Ambazonia because one of its members is actually a colonialist that has colonized half of the population in Africa for since colonization ended, and is treating these countries as though we are in the 17th century, and the European Union is cozy and allows them to be part of their member. I remember when our struggle started, there was a parliamentarian in Germany who spoke up. Did you hear very much more after that?
No, he did, because like in the United Nations, France has a very big lobby, and that is the first fight that we have to fight. So that parliamentarian spoke up. That was a German parliamentarian to the European Union that spoke up. But like I said, all of these organizations, they have their own. I will not hold the European Union in the same. I might be angry with them for not responding to some of the human, because we are all human. Whether you are in the European Union, or you are in the Americas, or you are in the United Nations, or whatever organization you belong to, we are all humans first. And the rights that the people in the European Union enjoy are the same rights that we as Southern Cameroonians within the African Union are supposed to enjoy.
I'm waiting to hear what you say. You will not hold the European Union to. I'm waiting.
No. What I'm saying is that I said I am angry with them for not doing anything about our situation, for not saying anything about it.
But why did you say you're not going to hold them to what? You have to hold the European Union to every standard that you've held the UN and the African Union. France is a member of the European Union. Well, it's one of their own who is committing crimes. Remember that slavery did not stop. Slavery did not stop by just Africans deciding that slavery should stop. There was cooperation around the world because Africa needs help to cure the evil that thrives in Africa. And France is a very big perpetrator of that evil. And European unions are cozy with them. France comes and rapes Africa and takes it to Europe and then makes these funds available for all European businesses to loan. So the European Union has a responsibility on what is happening in Ambazonia. The European Union had a responsibility in what happened in Rwanda. The European Union have a responsibility in what is happening in the Congo. The European Union owes the Ambazonian people what the French are doing in our country right now. This is very close to our heart. They're murdering people. They are murdering. It's just that we can't even put these pictures on YouTube because YouTube doesn't allow them. But if you see the pictures coming out of Ambazonia right now, and La République has trained young Africans to go around treating each other like animals. They treat them like game. That is wrong. The European Union needs to hold one of their own responsible for murdering Africa mercilessly. Africans did fight very aggressively in defeating Adolf Hitler in Europe. France is practicing exactly what Adolf Hitler did to Europe in Africa right now. And the European Union owes Africa to help get the French out of Africa. You cannot say you what? You allow them what? European Union is very, very central, even more than the UN. Because the Europeans, Africa is what it is because of the Europeans.
All right, let me correct you right there. And you just expressed the anger that I said I have. But Africa or the Southern Cameroon is not a member of the European Union.
No, but
let me finish. Let me finish. You cannot hold the European Union. Yes, its member, it has a rogue member. But we as
a rogue member who brings the loot home.
Listen, yes. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for the European Union. But there is nothing that we can do because we are not a member of the European Union. You cannot put the European Union and the United Nations on the same platform because we are a member of the United Nations, and the United Nations is actually the organization that created this current situation in which we find ourselves. So I can be very angry and annoyed with the European Union for benefiting from the loot, for just standing by and watching France do all these things. But we are not part of that organization. It is unfair that they have that double standard, that they will turn a blind eye to one of their own for perpetrating all of this in Africa. But I'm not going to hold them in the same level of accountability that I hold the African Union and the United Nations as far as our situation is concerned. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm going to push this a little bit. The African Union is a union of colonized states, okay? And these states are colonized by Europeans. To be honest with you, the European Union has even more power in the African Union than even Africans do. So, you could look. Europe is what destroyed Africa. They came to Africa, they invaded Africans, they break up their territory. At some point, they decided that something happened, that this needs to end. It should end with everybody. If we've decided that colonization is a crime, let it be crime for everybody. Let them not allow France to play this game. And everybody knows. Let me tell you something. There was a statement written by Coulibaly. I don't forget I've forgotten his first name. He was a speaker of the Ivorian National Assembly. He reported that during the Ivorian War, they would visit Europe, and when they go to discuss with any European country, they'll first ask them, what do the French say about that? So they all know what the French are doing in Africa, and they sit quietly and allow the French to do this because they're doing it to black people in Africa who the Europeans know it was a place where they went and held a meeting and said, let's go and loot this place, but let's loot it orderly, and made some rules on how to loot it. And that's what the whole 1884 Berlin Conference was all about. Europe owes Africa a lot. The African Union is just a union of these colonies who have suffered from the hands of Europeans. So, I like your objectivity, but if it was through objectivity, Ambazonia will not be fighting anybody today. We'll be a free country, developing ourselves, our children going to school. We'll not have French-educated people coming to contaminate our children. I don't know if he's trying to cause homosexuality among our children or what they're doing to the children. But if you want to trace, if you know, they've been talking about root causes of things. If you want to trace the root cause of why we are suffering today, it all goes back to Europe, and Europe needs to be part of the solution.
Well, what I'm saying, I think you probably miss what I'm saying, and we are looking at these institutions 1 year after. We are not, and what I want to see is what institution has the power to do something about what is happening, a direct relationship. That's what I'm looking for.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, so if we are not going to throw a net around to cast everybody around and pull everybody in. Yes, by the estate, it's not good. It's not good for the European Union. But we are not part of the European Union. And I'm looking for where we could go to these organizations and say, hey, this is what you owe us because of this relationship with you. And this is what your charter says. And this is what you are supposed to be doing for our situation. And for the past 1 year, you have not done that. Wow. As the ecstasy of that with the European Union is not good. It looks very bad on them that what they preach, they cannot practice. But we don't have that direct correlation to go and hold them for what they are not doing to us. I can hold the Commonwealth because we are a part of the Commonwealth. I can hold the African Union because we are part of the African Union. I can hold the United Nations because we are part of the United Nations. But the European Union is an extension.
All right, I really need to say this, and then I'm going to leave it alone, okay? You should know that because the French remain colonial masters in these colonial states that they've created in Africa, they control all the colonial presidents. And so when they go to the African Union, they're going there to sabotage They're going there to sabotage. They're going there to represent French interests. And this is not, I'm not guessing, because the French have worked really hard to make sure that Africans don't have a relationship with African Americans. The French were very concerned with the Pan-African spirit and the Pan-African promotion by Kwame Nkrumah and the Anglo-Saxons. So you know, the Europeans are very, very, very central in this. And Pa, look, I understand what you're saying, but if you have a member of your family that's an armed robber and they come and steal from my property all the time, and I know that I don't have a big gun to take care of him, there's nothing wrong with me to come to the family and say, you know what, I can't fight him, but if you can help as a family member and let him know that you don't want the name of your family out there like that, and I would do it. I would do anything. So even if the African Union now speaks loudly about our territory, and the Europeans say they will not do anything, that will still fall in deaf ears. But it's not going to happen, because France has its own. All the different presidents, they go to the African Union, and anyone who goes to the Africa and doesn't toe the line, you know what happens. He comes back home and get killed. You remember what Sankara said at the UN, at the African Union one time. He said he's going to say this, and maybe he will not be able to come to the African Union again the next time. And what happened? He didn't come because they killed him. So the Europeans owe us a lot. I understand what Roger is saying. Roger is looking at the situation right now. He's looking at it legally, but you know, like we say, Rogers is the force, or is the argument of force, not the force of argument. And Europeans can take care of their own to stop colonization in Africa. It took an American president to tell the Spaniards that they have to get out of the Western Hemisphere, and that's why the Western Hemisphere was free of European colonization. We don't have a big power that can tell Europeans not to come down and harass us the way they've been doing. And so we have to appeal to the Europeans, to their good conscience, to their modernity, that they should stop the French from treating God's children as though God made those children to become tools for the French to come and harvest every time they want.